You've played horror games.
Yes, I have played horror games.
You've played horror games where you have to wander around and figure out what's going on before you get eaten by something.
Yep, I sure have.
I don't know what they call that kind of horror game, but they're pretty common. Even the Slender Man kind of games are sort of like that. They're all kind of similar. Wander around, don't get eaten.
Yep.
This is that in VR. It's called Emily Wants to Play, and you wander around and hopefully don't get eaten.
Yeah, I've played this. Not in VR, but I've played this game before.
It's a pretty simple, inexpensive game. It is remarkably inexpensive, and it's in VR now.
Sweet. I enjoyed the non-VR version, so I'm assuming that I would like the VR version as well, because I remember the feeling of it in the non-VR was very tense, like you never knew when she was going to get you or jump out at you, and like it would get dark, and I could only imagine that being like twice as exhilarating with a headset on.
I don't know if I would use the word exhilarating, but if you've played the game, you already know what you're getting into. And I want to say up front, this is a $2 game. It is actually inexpensive. It's $2. There's not a lot of VR games that are $2. There are a few. Most of them are kind of crappy. This one's not, I mean, it's not crappy, but it's still a $2 game.
Yeah, definitely. When you said that, I was like, oh, well, probably not going to be as great as I had hoped.
I mean, you know, again, it's a game that's already been out. It's been out for a while, and people picked it up and played it. It was popular with, like, streamers and Let's Players and stuff like that. You saw a lot of that kind of stuff. So I think PewDiePie played this game, for example. So it's been out there. It's been out there for a while, and they decided to make it VR. It's the same game. If you haven't played it in VR, but you have played it in not VR, you're not getting anything different. It's the same game. You get that level of immersion that's always going to be different in VR than not VR, but that's really it.
Yeah, it looks identical. That's the first thing that I noticed. Once you said it was Emily Wants to Play, I could look at the different rooms and even the kitchen or whatever, wherever you might be, and I was like, yep, definitely the exact same game. So at least they stuck to it, I guess. But what if they would have changed something? Maybe it would have been cooler for them to actually make something different instead of just having the same game and let's add VR to it.
I'm okay with them doing something like that as long as they actually take VR into account, which they did in this. When I saw it and I saw that it had the VR, right, it just kind of showed up one day. It's not like I pay attention to Emily Wants to Play. I'm not like following the game or anything.
Right.
One day it just suddenly shows up as a VR title, which is obviously surprising to me because I go, what is this thing? So then I tried it out and boom.
Couple of jump scares. Then it was pretty much time to play something else, right?
Right, and the thing is that it's cheap and it's simple. You wander around or whatever, turning lights on and off and trying not to die. There's no blood, there's no gore, there's nothing like that. It's not like, you know, whatever. It's just jump scares, but the jump scares are okay.
Well, think of it this way. If you pay $2 for the game, you get 2 jump scares. That's $1 per jump scare. I mean, you've got your money's worth, right?
Yeah, pretty much. There are a couple of different enemies that spawn. You have to respond to them in certain ways. So there is one doll that will chase you that, I guess it actually won't chase you. But it requires that you don't move. So if you see it, you just don't move.
Yep, it was that way in the regular version as well.
And there's another doll that will chase you, so you have to keep moving away from it. And once you know how to play the game, then you're going to have a much better time. I actually think this is a perfect thing for somebody who has played the original.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
So for the low price of $2, would you pick it up, Brex?
For $2, I think that I would pick it up because I have seen what this game has to offer, and if they want to add VR to it, I think it's worth at least a couple of bucks. If they were asking for something more than that, I would not be very excited about it. But at the same time, I think that $2 is a nice little price for a game because for me, I always look at it as how much playtime can I get out of this? And even if I only play it for an hour or two, I feel like I've got my money's worth that way at least.
Yeah, and the fact is, you may already own this game because, I mean, it's been out for so long and it's been so cheap. It's been on sale for essentially nothing before. It's been in bundles and things like that. I mean, like, this is a game that's been around for a while. You can pick it up inexpensively. You might already own it, and it's in VR. I don't see any reason not to recommend it. So there you go, guys. That's Emily Wants to Play. It's a jump scare simulator. If you're interested in it, it's there. It exists. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. If you did like it, though, go ahead and watch another one up there in the corner. And as always,
we'll see you guys on the next one.